I'm gonna get hammered if I don't eat something.
You stay
Good thing we got off
just
grid.
a little bit longer. Ooh.
Welcome to the Northern Outcast Outdoors podcast, The Outcast. Powered by A&F Custom Calls, Veteran Innovative Products. I'll turn them down, leave them high.
Leave them up there.
Yeah, leave them up.
All right, boys and squirrels. So I'm actually pretty pumped about this episode. I'm not gonna lie. So this is episode 9. Now Chucky's giving me 8.
That's 8.
Oh, I thought you had a thumb there.
Thumbs don't count as fingers.
See what I did there?
All right, I'm on my 3rd whiskey here. So episode 8, and we got Spencer from Off Grid Food Company. For those of you that don't know, they're out west, and they make dehydrated meals, backpacking meals, but with like good stuff in them, like bison and quail and all kinds of fun stuff.
Yes, sir.
So if you kind of want to, I don't know, give us just the, I keep saying this now because Chuck said it, the 1,000-yard view of Spencer from Off Grid and the company.
Yeah, man, for sure. Well, first, thanks for having me on. Yeah, I'm out here in Washington State where we live and operate out of. I'm actually kind of a Midwest guy myself. I grew up in Northwest Michigan. Moved out here after high school, and yeah, just kind of always been into the outdoors and grew up hunting and fishing and in and out of commercial kitchens and restaurants and all that stuff. And my wife and I kind of bounced around a little bit, and then had some children and ended up back out here where she's from in Bellingham, Washington. So pretty typical roundabout story, and here we are. So
I mean, I've been buying stuff from you for about 2 years now. Jeff's our other member here. He's got some stuff too from you guys. And
sweet, awesome.
I think we actually found you guys from the Full Draw Film Tour, or initially 2 years ago.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep.
That would make sense. Very cool.
Yeah, so that was, I mean, mostly elk hunting, but you are like a savage duck hunter. I mean, like big time waterfowl hunter out your way there.
Yeah, that's everything else kind of slows down, and we're, you know, hate to rub it in your guys' face, but we've got a very liberal season with liberal limits. So once all the big game stuff kind of dies down, which I kind of do mostly, spend my time doing mostly archery stuff. So come October through the end of January, we kind of get into bird nerd mode, and it's pretty spoiled where we're at, and we can kind of, just bounce out in the backyard. Actually, you guys are lucky. I like that you had cocktails going. I had some beers in the back of my truck from my sister-in-law's birthday party the other night. So
Open one up.
it's officially past noon. I'm cracking one open here.
Fired up.
I am in my car, but I'm not driving. I'm in my
Listen, it's almost 5 o'clock here. You're good.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
way good,
close
man.
enough.
You're in good
All right,
company.
so, yeah, we're good now. But yeah, man, so we kind of do a little bit of it all. It's we're a small little 2-man shop out here. It's pretty much me and my right-hand man, Zach, and he is a big game killing freak, and I kind of focus on the archery stuff, and he does a lot more rifle. He's a ex-baseball stud and has a bad shoulder, so the archery stuff kind of gives him a rough time. So it's kind of nice. We kind of split our time and then kind of reconvene back in the fall and start hammering birds, and it's kind of a nice little routine. So
It's freaking awesome. I know you guys have been kind of out of commish for a while with your dehydrator. I was super pumped that you guys had like that little pre-order that you made available to everybody. And I went on there and snagged a couple more.
Oh, awesome. Appreciate it. Yeah. No, we're super excited. We've got some big changes coming up, and all going to be good, exciting changes. So yeah, we're kind of coming off of a little hiatus after some mechanical issues, and you know, everything just being weird last summer with the borders being closed. We do a lot of work with outfitters across the border, so that was a pretty big brutal spot to not have last year. So, yeah, we had all sorts of kind of setbacks, and the biggest one being that freeze dryer kind of broke on us, and it took a couple months to get fixed and back up and going. And we kind of realized that was not a mistake, or that was not something we could have happen again and be able to get through it
Yeah.
without having to make some serious reconsideration. So we just kind of decided on the front end of that. The first problem we had kind of took us for a little bit of a sidetrack. We didn't realize it was going to set us back that long. So we just kind of reassessed, and we got super lucky. There's a big freeze drying company in town here, and they ended up buying our big freeze dryer. So we didn't really have to deal with shipping that out or dealing with someone non-local. It kind of worked out all too perfectly. So we've got some big dehydrators that just got here to replace that thing, and we are getting ready to kind of re-release everything and get back where we were last spring. So
I mean, I'm excited. The one question
exciting timing.
Jeff was actually asking earlier too is when are you guys bringing back the 3 cheese mac with bison in it? Because that was by far our favorite one.
That sounds amazing.
Oh my god.
Good question. It kind of died with the freeze dryer as of now. But the good thing about that freeze dryer, just going across town to there's a company that does a lot of the area we're from up here in Northwest Washington is really known for berry production. So they do freeze dried berries at massive scale. Their freeze dryers hold 3,000 kilograms of food at a time or something like that. So
is that a pretty insane number? We're stupid.
Yeah,
so.
that's a lot. No, it'd be a couple big trailers full of berries that are getting dried all at once. So, yeah, we kind of buddied up with them, and we get all our freeze-dried fruit from them for the oatmeals and stuff. And they needed a new pilot, test unit. So our big commercial freeze dryer was a perfect test size for them. So we kind of got talking with them. Hopefully they are willing, and we're going to kind of work through trying to have them make sauces for us. So the mac and cheese is kind of gone for now, but we really want to try and find a way to not only bring the mac and cheese one back, but be able to have kind of those benefits of the freeze dryer, as far as being able to do more dairy and more fats and have more versatility with the kind of meals you can make in them. So they might actually start doing sauces for us, and then we'll do a dehydrated base of meat and veggies and rice or pasta or whatever that consists of, and then kind of have a hybridized dehydrated freeze-dried meal. So it could come back. We got a lot of work to do on that. So we'll see. We'll see, because everyone loves the mac and everyone loves the breakfast scramble. So if there's a way we could have those two, portions of it still made in our commercial kitchen and then freeze-dried in their facility across town, that'd be pretty cool.
The breakfast scramble was the only one I think the breakfast scramble and the stir fryer, the only two I think I haven't tried from you guys.
Oh, the breakfast scramble is my favorite.
I went on to order.
Sold out every time.
Yeah, I know. Every time me and Jeff saw it, we got on there and it was gone. We're like, ugh.
Yeah, that one was definitely my favorite. So that'll be a rough loss, but we're gonna have a whole lot more meals, and we won't be doing just the weekly batches. We'll actually have enough to just keep them in stock all the time. So it's like I said, nothing but good changes coming for this spring. So we're pretty excited.
So you know your way around a kitchen. You said that in kind of your intro, but how did you get into freeze-dried food?
Well, I grew up working in restaurants, and my aunt owned a couple restaurants and catering business when I was a kid, so I got pretty spoiled and put to work pretty early as far as the kitchen side of things go. And then the freeze drying aspect was really, I knew I wanted to make freeze dried products when we kind of decided we want to go after this backcountry food thing. And just because you can do that those cheeses, those fats, some of that dairy stuff that really jacks up the calorie count as far as like a backcountry food product. And it just gives you some versatility. The end product lasts longer than a dehydrated product. So, those freeze-dried meals will last like 30 years versus, a year or so on a dehydrated meal. Not that we plan on anyone keeping our meals for like 30 years. Most guys, with us focusing on the hunting community, most of it gets consumed like that fall or in the season or whatever. So, but that was kind of just, we wanted to do freeze-dried kind of from the get-go. I had dehydrated my own stuff for a long time before we ever started off-grid, and then before we ever launched the meals, we dehydrated a bunch of stuff just kind of on an R&D side, and then decided to give the freeze-drying a shot. So that was just kind of honestly a result of how we wanted the end product in the backcountry food space to be. I had no experience running freeze dryers or doing any of that before this, or really any like manufacturing experience. I grew up working in kitchens on the line and whatnot, and then did a little bit of oil and gas stuff after school and whatnot, and that kind of all shit the bed real fast. And
Yeah.
did a little, as you guys know, out there in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, they shut the fracking down, and there's
Yeah,
hundreds
yeah,
of
we were
thousands of guys
doing,
that lost jobs. Thanks,
Yeah,
Wolf.
for sure. We were
Gas
on
is
the
$3 a
leasing
gallon.
side of it, like the land management side of that. So our little business got shut down real fast as soon as all that stuff happened. And then I was kind of guiding part-time before that, and kind of got heavier into guiding, and that's kind of where the whole off-grid idea, I guess, spawned from. Was spend a whole season out here in western Washington guiding, and
So you actually
realized
guide.
there wasn't a whole lot. It was. I haven't in a couple years now,
Okay.
but yeah, I did some waterfowl guiding, and then a little bit of
pretty
big game guiding here too, and did some work for some outfitters in college in Colorado, scouting and doing some pack work and stuff like that. So it's kind of always been a little side hustle,
Yeah.
some level, but.
So most of the people listening to this are probably like out our way, like out east, and you're listening to this like, well, why do I give a shit about dehydrated meals? Dude, like when you're up at the camp, like if you hunt the way me and Jeff hunt, or all of us for that matter, I mean, we get back there like for days, like the whole day, like having this and it not being like giving you bubble guts by like, 2 p.m., like having a hot meal back there is like.
Well, I was just looking too. There's 34 grams of protein in
Yeah,
these.
I mean, like these are like
Holy
extremely,
shit.
high protein, like good calories, good fats, like not, crazy, stupid stuff. But like,
For sure.
I bring these up my camp, and it's like, instead of making a mess, we don't got running water in there. So it's like, one less thing to clean, you eat it right out of the bag. I mean, these things, have a place, out our way. It's not just, out west, hiking in for 7 days. Like we use the crap out of these out here.
Yeah, I mean, even if you're not going crazy like you are up the camp, just think about rifle season up here. You stop and, you might have to leave the woods to go get lunch, where you could,
Right.
Do these on the back of your tailgate.
Yeah.
I remember as a kid, we used to just, fry up the water or boil up the water and put them in something and make some meals right on the
Yeah.
tailgate. Like,
Me and you
at
did
least
that one day
now-
in archery.
yeah, at least now you're getting something that's going to refuel you. I mean, especially when you go on walks with Boer here. I mean, you're just
definitely
you're
need the
asking
energy.
for pain.
Yeah.
He'll take you 4 miles straight uphill the whole way and tell you, oh, this is the last hill, and then you just keep walking uphill, and you're like, dude, I thought this was the last one.
I have to dangle a carrot in front of them when they come with me.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, no,
Carrot cake,
yeah,
baby.
that's we try to make it useful for everybody, really.
Yeah, the cool thing about yours is too, it's like, I mean, we got a couple sitting out here too for on camera, but I mean, like, you got bison and quail and
Yeah.
like, good stuff in there, not like, these aren't like your run of the mill.
You're not eating
Stuff.
ramen noodles.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You're getting something like, I would rather eat bison than, some strange, like,
Sodium.
yeah,
For
whatever.
sure. Yeah, and for guys that are out east or not, going on some big western excursion or whatever, like we take the oatmeal all the time into the duck blind and eat those like halfway through the morning when shot a couple birds and it's kind of slowed down,
Oh, the
either
oatmeal's
bring a
fire.
jet oil or put a thermos of water in your bag, and we'll eat the oatmeals there, or like even just like you said, if you're packing around all day on a day hunt, it's just nice to have something like lightweight and convenient that is gonna like do the job. Like you said, it's not gas station food. It's not gonna make you immediately want to run to find your perfect stump there in the woods while you're out
It's
there
quick,
trying to
it's
really
quick and
do
easy
something
and
else.
effective.
So
Yeah, we got the oatmeal sitting right here too. I mean, it's delicious. Actually, this is the new packaging. I think my meals here are the old packaging because I remember you guys changed that up a little bit. But the oatmeals, the Washington apple is my favorite for sure. I love that stuff.
Yes, and the good thing, that one was kind of a weird one that was in and out of stock all the time just because we had a hard time getting those. There's also obviously Washington apple state, so we can get really good dehydrated apples, but they always run out of them real fast. So we have to like buy a big bulk order and then wait until like they harvest again. So we can really only buy them like this time of year, and then they start running out. But with the big dehydrators, we'll be able to do all that stuff our own. So the apple one will be coming back.
That's awesome.
I'm extremely jealous sitting here not having tried any of these yet.
Oh, we're gonna cook a couple actually on camera here. I didn't say that at the beginning, but we got the little stove out here. We're gonna dial them up here. You guys are getting hungry.
I'm just thinking of how I can get these up in the tree with me, and I can set up a little platform and just cook these in the tree and never have to leave. That's my plan for next year.
It'll work. Maybe not as much with the dinners. But the oatmeals will definitely, if you've got a good thermos, you pre-warm that thing and then you put boiling water in there.
Genius.
I've definitely taken it in my tree stand out here blacktail hunting, and you don't have to mess with the stove or anything while you're up there. You just kind of slip it out of your pocket, pour your hot water in, and then like zip it back up for a minute. But I usually don't. I'm a morning kind of guy, so I usually don't sit that long. I'm spoiled. I get in and get out. Like I get like a deer hunt, like I'm duck hunting. I'm like, it's 10:30. Okay, it's 10. Nothing's happening.
It's breakfast time.
Yeah. So, but then again, I got spots like right around my house, and I don't have to drive like an hour and a half or whatever, and want to commit the whole day. But if I was doing that, it'd be super nice to not have to deal with a stove, or B, a bunch of loud, crinkly snacks that you're opening every 5 minutes and rustling around and digging through your bag for,
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, whether you're out west or not, there's, perks and conveniences of having the lightweight, high-quality food, really for whatever you're doing, so.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that's just like we said, the high protein, like if you're really out there getting after, especially in the off season, like in the summer when you're scouting and stuff and you're out there all day, like having that extra protein is like, I can tell a difference. Like my body doesn't hate me as much at 6 p.m. when I'm like crawling back to the truck.
This is the kind of stuff that we fall back on because I mean, we're out there going miles and miles and miles, even just up in here, like Allegheny Mountains.
Oh yeah.
Or Allegheny National Forest, I should say. But
yeah.
I mean, it's pretty tough terrain. I say.
I mean, it's definitely not the Rockies.
But I mean, you work your ass off, and
man, people underestimate, the East Coast.
Yeah,
I think so too.
They really do. I grew up in the Midwest, and it's like there's hills, and I don't care. Like if you're going, you can go up a mountain for 3 miles out here and never go downhill again. But most time out east, you're going up and down and up and down and up and down.
Right.
Might only be like 200 vertical feet, but you're probably doing like 15 miles.
Right.
Yeah.
There's multiple hills.
Yeah. Yeah. I know.
So minus the elevation, you can end up doing just as much, physical work. Really, at the end of the day, it might be a little different. But.
The air quality too. That's an ass kicker. I know that.
Yeah, higher elevation.
Out west, you get.
Yeah, that is the equalizer.
Yeah, you finally did make it out to Colorado last year.
Yeah, we went to Colorado last year, and I'll tell you what, I wasn't ready for that.
Man, it's brutal. I went to school and I finished school in Gunnison, Colorado, which is the town's at like 7,800 feet. And man, when I was up there, I could just hike and hike and hike. And now out here, it's like it's not even, we don't even get that perk anymore because we're pretty much, we're on the coast, so my house here is sea level basically, and then when we get up on the top of our ridge lines, we're only at like 3,500 feet.
Yeah.
So we really don't get the whole elevation thing. So as far as that goes, we're kind of on par with you guys. So now when I go to Idaho or Colorado or something like that, I get my ass kicked.
Yeah, you feel the lung burn.
Oh yeah, it's brutal, man. It takes a couple days to even begin to get used to it.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I know that humidity out in Washington, like where you guys are at, I have some family out there. They always like send pictures, and it's like just permanently foggy. It seems like, and I know days out here where it's like super humid that will kick your ass too. And I feel like you guys have way more days like that. It's a different kind of kick your ass though.
Yeah, most definitely. It's an interesting place out here. We actually just got out of a little snowstorm. It was kind of nice to have a little taste of home. We actually had snow stick on the ground for about a week, so we'll get a snowstorm here and there, but yeah, we'll get a snowstorm here and there, but it usually doesn't really stick around and stay. So
we just got our ass kicked.
We've had
3 days
snow on the ground now for what, like a month?
That's actually one of the longest we've had snow on the ground in a while.
Maybe a month, maybe longer.
This winter's been kind of brutal compared to the last.
Yeah.
Yeah, since December we've had snow on the ground pretty much.
Which is okay. I mean, I don't mind it, but
yeah, but
now that hunting season's done, I don't want it.
Well, that's the thing, and like sheds are going to start falling, and you can't see them in that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, where we were at today, we were tromping through like 5-6 inches of snow in spots, and it's got a solid block of ice on top. It ain't good for the animals, and it definitely ain't good for my legs. I'll tell you that right now, because I worked my ass off today.
Yeah, no doubt.
I need one of these in the worst way right now. You have no idea.
So what's like
you guys do much bird hunting out there?
For waterfowl? We got a couple friends that really go hard, but like our core group, we never had, like, our parents never were into that, so like we were never like really around it growing up. We hunt turkeys heavy. I mean, that's like,
it's also a funny thing. Like, there's some groups that are like super uppity about it. You know what I mean? It's kind of like skeet shooting around here is like a super uppity thing, and I'm not saying that the people that we know do it are, but I know what you mean. I've never gotten into it. I know. I mean, Tanner, a little bit.
I just started getting into it this year. Actually, This year was my third time going, and actually shot some geese this year, which now that you get that flavor and that taste for actually getting some action.
Yeah.
So now it got this new drive to keep going. But what sucks is like this Saturday's the end. So
yeah, the season's over, and I know guys around here that have literally just dropped everything, given up deer hunting and everything just to hunt.
Yeah, there's a bunch.
A lot of our seasons overlap.
Mud's like that.
That's the trouble part. Like, we're hardcore deer hunters.
I gotta keep the balance.
Yeah.
We usually I got a bunch of buddies, obviously, they're big waterfowl guys out here, and everyone's always, we get an early goose season in September, but I've never hunted it, probably never will. I got to keep my big game seasons there, but I'm doing I'm doing the exact opposite, man. We just got. I mean, I shot some turkeys as a kid back in Michigan or whatever, in the backyard. We don't need to go into the details of those stories. Getting yelled at by my dad.
Michigan,
but,
we get it.
Yeah, we got some of those stories.
It explains a lot. But no, we never, we didn't really, we had done some, I'd done a little bit of turkey hunting as a kid, doing the ground blind thing and whatnot back home on the edge of, fields and, whatever. And we just kind of got back into turkey hunting out here the last couple seasons, and it's like mini elk hunting out here. You just kind of chase them around the hills, and it's a freaking blast, man. It's so much fun. So we're kind of getting excited for that to kick off out here again.
Spencer, what subspecies are you chasing out there?
What's up?
What subspecies are you chasing out there in Washington?
Turkeys?
Yeah, was it like Easterns, Merriams, Rios?
Yeah, we've got all three, but they've kind of been if I remember correctly, they've been introduced kind of in different areas of the state.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to say like the Rios are down by the Columbia on kind of like the southern part of the state, and then there's some Merriams and Easterns up kind of like where we go, kind of the eastern quadrant of the state.
Yeah.
We don't really have turkeys on the west side of the mountains.
Gotcha.
So it's kind of, Washington's really kind of split down the coast by the, Cascade Mountains, and we on the west side are super wet and green and lush, and right when you get over the mountains, it's, rain shadow, dry, deserty. And then you kind of get past that over towards, the Idaho border, and it kind of starts getting a little more like mountainous Idaho kind of style, pinyon pines and stuff like that, and kind of cool scrubby country. So there's some really cool terrain, and there's a lot of birds over here, and it's been super fun. We don't really know what we're doing, and
Welcome to the club.
seem to find our way chasing turkeys here and there. So it was like our first, I want to say 2 years ago. I didn't get to go out much last spring just because all the COVID stuff had kicked off, and they had a bunch of the public lands closed out here. So
Oh, wow.
I don't know if
They actually
that was
closed
the
the
same.
land?
Yeah. How
Yeah,
insane
they
is
did.
that?
They had a
How
bunch
bizarre.
of they fully closed fishing out here for a little while.
Makes zero sense.
That's crazy.
I'd love to see the
That's
science
sick, man.
behind that move.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Like,
think
you
it's just because
freaking
they
kidding me.
didn't have the personnel to like manage it, and people were getting sick, or that was their excuse, or whatever you want to call it.
Bunch of baloney.
Sure. Mhm.
Yeah, a bunch of baloney.
Bunch of baloney up in there.
So last year we kind of, you either had to like run over to, the free state of Idaho to go have your fun.
Yeah.
But at one point, I think there was people even saying Idaho wasn't wanting, this was like last April when everyone was all kind of like super sketched out about all this stuff. Idaho was even like looking for out-of-state plates and like saying people weren't supposed to travel and blah blah blah. So
Well, Idaho
Last
shut
year
down
was
their
kinda
out-of-state
tough to
license
even-
sales, didn't they?
No, they sold
Yeah,
out.
they
They
did.
sold out.
So
They sold out quick.
if you
they're-
like had, and I think they did shut it down for a while. So if you like
Yeah.
had one, you could go over there, but you couldn't like go over and
a lot
buy
of
a
states
tag.
did that. Ohio did that. There's
Yeah,
quite
Ohio
a bit of
did
states that
'cause
did that.
That's what we were going to deer hunt, and they
You couldn't buy a license. They
You
shut
could not
down
buy a
out-of-state
license.
No,
Fishing,
Yeah,
too.
yeah. So hopefully all that's kind of back to normal this year, and we're gonna try and do some stuff with buddies over on the east side of the state. One of my good buddies is one of the owners of Pacific Calls, Trevor Austin. So we're gonna try and do some turkey hunting with guys that actually know what they're doing this spring.
that's a good start.
Yeah, get a good learning session going. So
That's a good start. That's for sure.
Yeah, the curve
Get
with,
somebody that knows what they're doing. That's what I did.
yeah, the curve with turkeys is steeper than most animals. Like, any idiot can go out there and shoot a deer. It might not be the biggest deer, but you could go out there and shoot a deer. But
Yeah.
birds are, they're weird animals. They're goofy. I've had more weird turkey hunting stories than any other animal for sure.
yeah, they're cool. They're cool critters.
Yeah, the Easterns are a little bit more stubborn too. When you get the Merriams and the Rios, they're more little adapt to come into calling and different things like that. They like to talk a little bit more, and I can't wait to go out. We're gonna be out in Oklahoma this year to run after some Rios, and I can't wait, man. We've only ever hunted Easterns, everyone at this table.
Yeah.
Like that's all we have from here to the middle of forever
Yeah, I
until
was just gonna
Kansas.
ask.
Like, it's all Easterns. No matter where you go around here, you're hunting Easterns,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
fun because
It's fun because they're aggressive. I mean,
they are.
They
And when
get
they
nuts.
gobble in your face, they explode. The woods explode when they gobble, and it's a blast. But
Yeah.
I want to see something
We got to
different.
mix it up. We got to mix it
Yeah,
up a
I
little
want to see
bit.
something different. Maybe we'll go to
Man.
Washington with Spencer and show them how to kill
Yeah,
turkeys.
come on out.
Yeah.
Come on out. I'll take all the pointers I can get.
Yeah, we'll see about crossing state lines with shotguns. We might have to figure something
Figure it
out.
out.
We're all
Figure it
right.
out.
We got a
We'll
badge.
fly.
We got a badge.
Got to carry on. You just got to put a lock on it or something. I don't know. We'll figure
Well,
it
you
out.
don't have to go. If you did come out this way, you don't have to go as far as Seattle. So you can
Perfect.
avoid.
That'll work.
You can avoid that region altogether. We're north of there quite a ways, but
Most
try to
excellent.
avoid that region at all costs.
I just want to
I
see
don't
those
blame you.
giant redwood trees. Is that what they are? Is that what you guys got out there? Do you have any of those locally?
We don't have big redwoods locally. We have some giant old growth cedar trees
That'd be
and
cool.
Douglas firs and some really big western hemlocks. But most of the forestry stuff out here has been logged, and it's mostly second growth. Where we elk hunt is all second growth, except for like we've got maybe like 3 patches of old growth and like in the whole unit, in the whole gaming unit, and it's all for the most part all been logged out here.
Yeah.
And most of it now is in that like 30 to 40 year second growth phase. So it's pretty cool. There are some like obviously in the parks and kind of in some of those areas there's some big old growth patches that you can go like take the kids and go walk through, and they're kind of more of like the touristy thing. But
Yeah.
there are a couple patches where we elk hunt that it's big giant like Lord of the Rings type trees, and
That'd be cool. That'd be cool to see.
it's wild,
so
man.
cool.
It looks crazy. Yeah, it looks crazy. It's giant trees and thick underbrush and giant ferns, and every now and then you'll see like the tips of some elk antlers like sticking 6 inches up above the bushes, and you're down below there. It's like, where the hell are we? But for the most part, we just a lot of big thick timber out here because it all has been logged at some point. So the bottom, our little drainage bottoms are thick and the timber's tight, and it's cool. It's cool country out here.
Yeah, well, sticking with elk hunting, I mean, from an Eastern's perspective, I mean, that's probably the first animal you might go out west and chase, and it kind of plays hand in hand with what you offer as your product here. So, I mean, what is your biggest customer base? Is it the Western people that are out, in the mountains that are spending all day out there that really need, the high levels of protein and the high levels that your food offers? Is that like your biggest customer base, I would imagine?
Yeah, I would think so. And I mean, we, I think see more sales here regionally in the Pacific Northwest just because of where we are, and we've got a lot of friends that kind of help us out with some of the marketing stuff out here regionally and whatnot. But yeah, I would say it's mostly Western concentrated, but man, we send stuff all over the country, and to some places you'd have no idea, and then guy will call and ask a question from Kentucky or something, and he's going to Alaska on a Dall sheep hunt, and you're like, oh shit, that's awesome. Like I was not expecting that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like it's super cool. I mean, there's people all over the place that come from your guys' area and are either going a little bit further west and doing whitetail stuff in Missouri or whatever, or coming further west and doing elk and mule deer. So yeah, we send stuff all over the place. But I would say we've kind of focused on that. Like I guess you would ask us like our target market, even within like the hunting arena, would probably be that backpacking crowd, just because they're we were really trying to fill that gap in the packable backcountry food space. So that was kind of the gap we set out to fill. So I'd say we kind of set out to really appeal to that backcountry hunter, but also it's like trail mix is trail mix. Everyone
Right.
can benefit from good healthy snacks. So whether you're sitting in a ground blind turkey hunting, or sitting in your tree stand whitetail hunting out east, or wherever you're at there, we just wanted to make good clean foods that will keep you going when you're out there. Like I said, whether you're going up and down through the whitetail woods, or you're going straight up the mountain trying to get up into the blueberry fields and chase bear out here, or hauling decoy bag after decoy bag after decoy bag through knee-deep mud for all morning. There's something you can do that like, we'll get behind it all because we like to do it all, so we want to make the products that can, they're focused for that backcountry guy, but at the end of the day, if they work for the backcountry guy who's packing in, bringing his camp with him, trying to shoot something back there and pack it all out, it works for him. It's probably going to work for you doing whatever you're doing.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
So it's kind of like you build it for the top level need, and then, depending on what you're doing between there, it should fill the gap for you.
The one thing I do like about your stuff too, like compared to like a Mountain House or like a Peak even, their bags are like, they take up a lot of space. Like your stuff's like pretty streamlined, and the new packaging is even more streamlined than, you know what I mean? Like it's not this like big huge thing. It's like this nice little neat little thing. You can put like 1 million in there, compared to like 2 of theirs, or
Well, that stuff's really important to us. It's like we made and designed these products based off what we do and what we felt was needed in the products. So it's like having convenient sized packaging that is durable and does what it needs to, and is also convenient size wise for your pack is important to us, because that's what we need. Like, I'm not going to mention any other names, but there's some other freeze dried meal companies out there that the bag's like a freaking sheet of paper. Like it's like an 9x11. Like it's like you could write an essay on that damn thing. Like you could draw your you could plot your course on that thing.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, I don't want all that bulk in my bag personally. Right. Before we started making all of our own stuff, it's like I'd cut open Mountain House bags. I'll use them because everyone knows Mountain House. Everyone's eating Mountain House. They're the originator.
Oh yeah.
Kudos to them. We wouldn't be here without them. So, but I'd take those Mountain House meals and I'd cut them open and I'd vac seal those things, and then I'd just like shove those in my bag because they were 10 times smaller. Yeah. And then I'd just keep a couple of the bags. I'd keep one bag, for every couple days, and they'd stay flat, and my pack don't take up any space, and I just use a bag as I needed to. So, the packaging, the size, we try to look at everything kind of like full spectrum, and we probably have a advantage compared to most people because we're taking it from firsthand experience, and it's what we want in our packs.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, especially for us out here, we don't have like, well, we do have, but like we're not going to take a 50-liter bag to go for a long weekend something. Like, we got like a 20-liter bag or something. Like, that's like one of the first things I noticed. I was like, oh, wow, these are like kind of small. This is nice, or something like that. Yep.
I could put like 30 of these in my backpack right now.
Yeah, and the oatmeal, I know, we really liked the size of the new oatmeal and trail mix bags. We're going to have to go back and rework those. I don't know if you guys experienced any of the... we had pretty high failure rate with the tear notches on those.
Really?
So we had to sort through a whole bunch of them when we got those.
Live if it works.
A bunch of the zippers didn't even want to reclose, and then so we had to kind of like pick through and find the good ones, and they're sized really well, but then when you rip them, they kind of don't rip cleanly. We use a bunch of plastic shreds. So we're going to try and find a new supplier to make that same size bag for us. But
I think
those might be getting
3 or 4 of the trail mixes in that. I don't think I've had any trouble with that. But then again, the trail mix, you're not really sealing up your, that's
like I said, we've kind of tried to pick through the bad ones the best we could too, and not send the ones that, the zipper seal wouldn't work on out to, send those to, some of our friends that we need them to try stuff for us or whatever. So
I know, like, if you think of Mountain House and you got like your chicken teriyaki and all that normal stuff, and then you got yours like quail tacos and bison penne 3 cheese pasta, how'd you guys like come up with the recipe and kind of separate yourself a little bit?
Yeah, it's a factor of me growing up in restaurants and liking to cook. Hunting and cooking are kind of my 2 passions and 2 things I'm kind of good at. So this is really a combination of what I like to do. And then it's another funny thing to me when we were kind of getting started doing this is like everything just kind of seemed the same. Everybody's got a chili. Everybody's got a chili mac. Everybody's got a chicken teriyaki. Everybody's got an Alfredo. It's like we wanted to just have stuff that was kind of a blend of not like fancy, but a little more out of the ordinary as far as like flavor profiles and what we wanted to offer, like the Thai green curry and stuff like that. Just like stuff that we wanted to offer, products that were like approachable, but still kind of had an elevated factor as far as like how they're made and flavor and stuff like that to be a little bit different. So it's like you said, the quail tinga taco bowls, like it's pretty much like an enchilada bowl, but we make all those sauces in our kitchen and stuff like that. So it's all just kind of super good, flavorful stuff that we'd like to make at home. That was kind of a blend of like approachable, but a little beyond what's typically offered, in the market. Like we do have a chili because we feel like it was just kind of one of those things. Everybody likes hot chili at the end of the day.
Everybody loves chili.
Yeah,
everybody makes one, so it's like we kind of had to have that one product that you can kind of like do that compare and contrast thing too. So, it's like our chili, we got like, we Traeger roast a bunch of the chili peppers that are in there and stuff. It's just like little stuff that we do that we
the little things. The little things
makes it stand apart. Yeah, and we are small enough where we can make our meals as like a cohesive dish and actually like build that flavor through the process of cooking it as a meal like you would at your house, and then it gets freeze dried or dehydrated. Whereas like some of the really, really massive companies, they kind of have to like freeze dry all this stuff separately and then combine it into a meal just based on how big they are and how they have to make their products to meet like safety requirements and all that stuff. So not that
someone that's completely ignorant.
We're small enough and we make our stuff in like a catering kitchen. It's not like a giant warehouse.
It's not a warehouse.
Like manufacturing stuff.
Yeah.
So it's just completely different when you look at like us as a little direct to consumer kind of craft food business versus like, Mountain House, who's in every big sporting goods store across the country. They make so much food, it's crazy.
Yeah.
To someone that's like completely ignorant to like the process, what is like the difference between dehydrating and freeze drying? Because I know everybody out here has a dehydrator that they do the jerky cannon thing with, but like what is the difference between that and freeze drying?
Mainly just in the physical process of the machines. A dehydrator, like you said, everyone, you can easily go get one and make your own jerky or make your own meals, and like we encourage you guys to do that too. We're not out here trying to say like we're not going to tell you how to go dehydrate your own meals because we want you to buy it from us. It's like, man, everyone, there's like 10%, maybe 5% of guys that make their own meals, and they still buy stuff from us to like fill in the gaps. So it's like we're only helping people. We're only helping us out too. But it's like the dehydrators, they're just basically a heating element and fan. And it circulates the air until it dries it enough to where there's really no moisture left in it. So it's a pretty simple, like it's basically air drying on steroids, because you have a little bit of heat and you've got fans moving that air and keeping it from getting stagnant and rebuilding back on the product. Freeze dryer, like the one we had, You make your product, you put it on the trays, and you slide it in there. It deep freezes it to like -90 Celsius.
Holy shit.
So super cold.
That was the degrees of our morning hunt this morning.
And so then it starts, it deep freezes it, and then it puts it under a heavy vacuum, and then the trays that it's on it starts to warm up. So then it slowly starts to match as the heat ramps up. So does the vacuum pressure. So what it does is it takes all that the frozen water molecules that are in that food, they're in a solid ice state. Normally ice would, if you just let an ice cube sit out, it's going to go from ice to water, and then it's going to evaporate, so it goes solid, liquid, gas. Well, in a freeze dryer, it just goes from solid straight to basically a gas form. So it skips the liquid phase. That's why it dries the product. So it sublimates it under pressure. It makes that water content go from an ice crystal straight to a gas, and then it refreezes it on a condenser unit below it. So basically moves all the water content from the food out of the food, and then it rebuilds as ice on the condenser units inside the same chamber. So the biggest difference in what we found out, and we kind of found out the hard way, which is why we're now going for dehydrators, is that you have a very technical refrigeration system that gets down to negative 90 Celsius.
I feel like we need one of those
then you have a
vacuum
vacuum
memes
pump
for this.
Yeah, then you have a vacuum pump system that is required to like pull that moisture from the solid state into the gas phase. So it's like if you have any little thing that goes wrong on that, it's like what we kind of realize is like you can't call just like a normal electrician or a normal plumber to come look at this shit, because there's only like 3 companies that make these damn things, and we had to like try and get someone to come out and work on it. Well, it's middle of COVID, so the company like refused to send their employee on an airplane, and then it took like 3 extra months to get the vacuum pump replaced because the factory had been shut down for 2 months. So there's all this stuff, but basically they're just way more technically involved on the freeze drying side than on the dehydration side.
So with your old system, you kind of had a waiting list. Like, you had guys weekly orders, like you were saying. Whenever you put your new system in, what are you expecting? Like, as far as you said, you're gonna have some backlog. Like, what's the supply gonna look like? Are you gonna have quite a bit to have available?
Yeah, it's looking really good, and that was one of the big determining factors of, okay, we're actually going to go dehydrated, was just the scalability that we can get right away with the dehydrators versus the freeze dryers. We should be able to keep up a whole lot more with the demand this summer. Last year was kind of like our pilot phase with that freeze dryer, so to say, where we didn't want to go buy 3 or 4 of those machines before we knew how they worked, and thank God we didn't.
They can't be cheap, I'm sure.
We had a problem with ours in the first 6 months of having it or whatever, but it's one of those that was one of the big factors that we went dehydrated for, was just being able to make a whole lot more meals a lot faster, and hopefully not have to do that batch system at all, where we can only make, with the freezer, we can only make X amount of meals per week. With the dehydrators, it looks like we'll have a whole lot more flexibility to grow, and they're a lot cheaper. If we needed to add machines, we can do that pretty easily now. It's like everything's just coming together way smoother and easier with the dehydrators than it did with the freeze dryer. So
yeah, I know, like, you got a pretty cult following with
hopefully,
that.
like I said, hopefully they're just in stock.
Yeah.
Unless something unforeseen happens, which I guess we kind of expect at some level now, but it's not going to be like, oh well, they're selling out in 5 minutes every time we put a batch up on the website like it was last summer. And it's kind of a product of, we had to kind of get it out there and see what the demand was, and then demand for those ended up being way more than what we thought it was, and we just physically couldn't keep up. So then the machine broke. So it's kind of like, well, we gotta reassess this here, guys, and figure out what we need to do.
Are you guys bringing the jerky back too? Because honestly, that was one of my low-key favorites.
Yeah, jerky. Yep, jerky's definitely coming back. It might even be something we're kind of waiting to hear back, is if we can produce that in-house or not with the bison that we use in the meals. I'm not gonna dive into that super deep, but we're trying to get to that point where we can do our own jerky, which will be nice. And we just haven't been able to do that the last couple of years. We've kind of made some changes to our facility and have kind of taken over more of the space there. So we'll probably be able to do it now, which means we don't have to outsource that jerky and buy 1 million bags, it seems like, at a time, and then hustle to sell them before they expire. We'll be able to kind of shrink the batch size down on that significantly to kind of keep up with our regular program. So hopefully the jerky is coming back in the next couple of months. If not, we're going to try and find a new supplier to keep making our recipe. Like the company that was, they got so behind with being shut down after COVID and whatnot. We haven't been able to.
This year's been hell.
We've got an order from like 8 months ago that we still haven't got.
Oh,
Yeah,
jeez.
this year's been this past year's been a tough one. So.
Oh, it's been crazy, yeah. So.
Do you foresee any other wild game species recipes coming up in the future? Like, I would love to see like an elk or
Chucky's trying to get
blacktail
it.
or
You heard it here
turkey.
first.
Something crazy.
You know what I mean? Like something wild.
Yeah, there's a couple of options that we've kind of been looking into.
You can say it.
Well, the elk one, it's like the elk one's sensitive because there's big disagreements with people, like basically there's someone else tried to put elk in their meals, and the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation came at him and was like, if you do this, we really don't support farmed elk practices really at all, blah 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 blah. Like,
Cabela's serves elk. I mean, what do you
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, come on.
There's weird stuff, but there is, like, we can do like there's some wild boar options we've been kind of looking at.
Ooh, there's no shortage of those.
Yeah, wild boar
As
up.
well as there's some really good high quality farmed fallow deer and and antelope.
Hey,
I hear that's good meat.
now you're.
Yeah, I've never tried
listen,
antelope.
I heard
I
fallow
think
and
those are
antelope.
the only. Those are the only two I think that would be within the realm of like actually being able to do, just based on like a price factor.
Yeah,
Right.
the elk
Like, you
thing's
can
a
get some
bummer.
really good quote unquote exotic meats, mainly from Texas.
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
Mainly from
They
Texas.
literally have everything.
But
I feel like.
a lot of it's super expensive. Like, you can get black buck and stuff like that, and we've gotten some of those samples and stuff from the company that we work with down there that we get the quail from, and some of it's really, really, really good. But yeah,
can
we just
imagine.
I don't think anyone's gonna wanna. Like, you're gonna pay. You want to go pay for that in a restaurant, not in like a freeze-dried bag.
Yeah, I see. I
You
see
don't
your
want to pay
point on that.
$30 a pound for some like black buck meat that you have to like pour boiling water into a bag for. You know what I mean?
We're
Like,
about to
I
eat
would
some quail
cringe a
here.
little bit. I would cringe a little bit.
Yeah,
even,
I agree.
I feel like if we made something with like if we made like a freeze-dried filet mignon, we'd just be like, okay, this is wrong.
Yeah.
Listen, just from what's on the table right here, we got the penne with the bison and the quail tacos. I'm pretty jacked up to try it. So.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Nice.
excited.
Awesome.
Pretty excited. But I mean,
the flavors are just bison.
it's just a
and-
bummer with the elk thing, dude. Because think about it, like around here, it's kind of tradition. Like, during season, we save either the backstrap or the heart of the buck that we harvested the year before, the deer, and you eat that during season, and you think of it as like, hey, it's a good luck charm. Like, I ate last year's buck, right? Now I'm gonna go out and kill another one. Like, imagine being on the mountain chasing elk and you're eating elk at the
eating
same
elk.
time. That would
It's
be
just
just
nothing but good
phenomenal,
mojo.
right? That just brings good vibes. But I get it. I'm just pulling your chain a little bit here. 'Cause
there's a lot of backstory to it.
yeah, I get it. But I mean, with
You
all
got to
things,
do what's right for
absolutely
the business, obviously.
Yep, with
For
business.
sure, and the cool thing is, like, if we were to go buy that farmed elk, like, it's farmed elk, it's not probably from Texas,
Right.
it's not like
Texas
elk
has
where elk
everything.
are supposed to be necessarily. Yeah, so it's like the bison that we get are from South Dakota, and then that meat spends its entire life on it's territory that it was intended to be on, like its natural range. Like those animals were meant to be in South Dakota. They're out there the whole time. It's giant free range pasture, and then the slaughter truck comes and they drive that sucker out into the field, shaking that thing around. Some dude gets out the back of his truck and shoots a big bison, and then they like slaughter it in the field. It's all USDA, certified.
Yeah.
But those animals are on their home native range the entire time. It's really cool.
Yeah.
That's wild.
And they've invited us out there. I really want to go look at the ranch and stuff because it'd be super cool. But yeah, that's one of the only species, domestic, wild, whatever, that you can buy as like a consumer in the grocery store, and it most likely like spent the majority of its life on its native range. Now, the bison we get, super high quality, and we've kind of made sure it's the cleanest, most cared for meat you can get. But yeah, it's all super cool because a lot of it's from where it's intended to be, eating what it was meant to eat.
Yeah.
Growing up where it was supposed to. It's really cool.
Well, if you get better at turkey hunting, then you could probably do a turkey recipe, right, Spencer?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Hey, why don't you come out here with us one? Just take like a week and a half off. Come out here. We'll shoot some turkeys, and we'll just give you all the turkey meat, and then you can make us some good off-grid meals.
There you go.
Oh yeah.
I like to
figure something out.
So what big hunts have you been on? Did you go on any big hunts in 2020, or you said it was pretty much COVID kind of?
Man, not nearly what we planned. Like I said, I didn't do much turkey hunting because that was closed, and then we did some. We're lucky we can bear hunt right in our backyard, pretty much in the mountains here. So we did a little bit of bear hunting, not as much as normal, just because we were kind of getting ready for big work season, and then our freeze dryer broke, so I was kind of dealing with that a lot of August. And then our elk season, they had a lot of what we hunt is, like I was saying earlier, timberlands, logging country, so they had a lot of that closed for fire danger, and then they had that closed for COVID too. So didn't do any.
We're not going there again.
And I bought an archery tag, so I didn't have. I didn't get a multi-season tag this year just because whatever, I was lazy and didn't apply. But
have that.
So I didn't elk hunt at all this year, and then did a little bit of deer hunting here, and was kind of chasing one buck, just blacktail hunting in the lowlands here, sitting in my tree stand at my brother-in-law's. Never saw the buck I was looking for.
Go figure.
But I actually got out and hunted a little bit, so that was nice. And then we kind of jumped right into waterfowl season, which we just get so spoiled with.
They couldn't hold you back from that, though. It's like, hold back my elk. You ain't get my waterfowl, bitches.
Yeah, I think well, it's just like there's so much, so much more of the waterfowl happens on private land. Yeah. They'd have a hard time, I think, telling people no. Mm-hmm. But I'm glad they didn't shut that down. So
what do you got coming up?
Yes, we're definitely turkey. Oh, we got turkeys coming up here soon.
Ooh, we're creeping up on it. We're creeping
up on it, baby. And then our bear season opens up August 1st. So,
no shit.
Okay.
Nice.
Yep. We can start chasing bears August 1st. It usually, is the longer you wait, the better it gets. You get into mid-September.
Yeah.
Bear hunting out here gets really, really good.
Are you baiting out there? Are you allowed to bait for bears?
No, we are not allowed to bait for bears.
Awesome.
So what's like a typical bear hunt look like? Are you, can you do dogs, or is it mostly just
country?
stand?
No, Washington's weird, man. No bait, no dogs. It's silly, stupid.
Just like it's just like a whitetail hunt here. Just kind of hang out and scout.
It's the same here.
Do your thing.
Bear's the same here too. You can't.
Yeah, but we're lucky. We got a lot of high country access real close to us. Like we're I can drive an hour east into the mountains, and we're in the middle of the Cascades, so it's
Yeah.
we
that'd
got
be
those
cool.
classics. Start at the river bottom, hike straight
Work your way up.
the mountain. Yep, hike straight up through the thick shit until you get into the berry fields and glass.
Glass,
Little
buddy.
spot
That's
and
it.
stock action. That's pretty cool.
Glass.
though.
And eat snacks, man.
Any elk trips planned?
Oh yeah, definitely getting plenty of elk hunting in this year. We're gonna do our typical Washington thing, which is
Yeah.
kind of on the other end of the state from where I live, but
Is
to
it
do that
is it a
with my
good
buddies I used to
population
guide
up there,
with.
or is it kind of just
It's
depends on the
really-
area?
Yeah, it really depends on the area. Like up on the east side, there's a lot of really big bulls on the east side, but it's managed completely different. Like it's managed for trophy elk, so
Yeah, roger
you
that.
can't really get either sex over the counter tag east of the mountains here. You kind of got to do the draw
You
thing.
do the draw phase, yeah.
But then it sucks because it's like if you try to put in for a nice eastern side tag. I mean, I'm not from here, so I never really got into the Washington's draw system's really screwy. So
there's a bunch that are starting to get a little wacky
So I
on
never
us.
really like my kids are gonna draw tags here before I ever will.
Yeah, right.
So I gotta ask.
Because I didn't grow up building tags throughout my whole childhood out here, so it's like my buddies that are all getting ready to like draw these goat tags and like all these cool elk tags out here. They've been their dad started putting them in when they're 3 or 4, so now they've all got like 20 something points or whatever.
That's
Right.
insane.
So that's how I listened to Corey Jacobson, and he talks about I can't remember exactly what state it was, but he's been putting in for however many years, but he'll never catch up to that point creep. Like he'll never get to that point where he'll draw a tag in a certain unit just due to that point creep. And
yeah, it's funny. So yeah, Washington's really like not friendly in that regard for the draw. So we usually hunt the west side, which is mostly over the counter. The units we hunt, there's a handful of them you can hunt either sex that are you can shoot a cow or typically it's like a 3-point or better bull.
yeah,
So it's good. We have really shitty elk seasons out here. The archery season is like 2 weeks in September, where most
That's
western
it?
states
It's only
get
2
the
weeks?
entire month. Yeah.
Yeah, 2 weeks
Oh.
is
So we get
nothing.
we get like 14 days in September. It's
Oh,
just
wow.
like it's like a
Okay.
touch over 2 weeks or whatever. It's like 12 to 15 days usually, and so it's like 14 days in September, and then that's all we get early during the rut, and then it opens up for another like 2.5 weeks at the end of November through like mid-December.
is that like a rifle season then?
No, for archery only. So
Oh wow, okay.
you
cool.
get like a late archery season, which
I
if we
like
don't
that.
tag
I
out,
like that.
if we don't tag, yeah, it's nice. Like if we don't, man, it would be nice to have the whole month of September because we could make we could make multiple trips down there, but we usually now just set it up to where we're down there for like the whole 10, 12 days or whatever.
Yeah.
It's logging country.
Spend your time and do your deed, and
Yeah, it's
That's the
logging
end.
country. We drag, it's not. Everyone thinks we like not every hunt we do is like some big gnarly backpack hunt. Like we drag trailers down there and set up a big ass camp. and
hey,
cook-
might as well. If you can do
cook
it,
good
might as well
food,
do it.
Well, it's like down there in September, Western Washington, it's like weather can be. There's spots you can go backpack hunt here on the west side, but for the most part, it's logging country. There's roads every, logging road every, half mile, 3/4 of a mile, wherever you're kind of at. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of beating the roads and looking for rubs and listening to bugles and
No doubt.
kind of waiting out the weather. Honestly, elk hunting down here, it's like we wake
Tough.
up and it's pouring rain, like to the point where you couldn't hear a bugle 50 yards away.
Yeah.
That's how we hunt out here. So it's like, well, then you're glad you got a nice kind of comfy camp.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, listen, you bring all the materials.
I enjoy
you
it.
can hunt all
I
day.
enjoy and embrace the suck too. Like I like
Absolutely.
pushing it and being
See,
miserable.
Chucky,
But
embrace
we'll do
the
that in the
suck.
high country up here, bear hunting and deer hunting in October during rifle season. Zach, who's my one full-time guy, he's he's kind of our man. I hunt archery out here too because the weather's nicer. So it's like,
Yeah.
it's October out here. It can get nasty up in the high country in a hurry. But Zach loves that shit, and he'll go up there for like 8 or 9 days in October, and he'll watch people get scared off the mountain, and he's up there, and he'll
Embrace the
he'll
suck.
hunker down, and
Yeah.
he'll embrace
Yeah.
the suck and hunker down. I'll do that stuff too, but
Yeah, no doubt.
at some point, like on the coast where we elk hunt, it gets nice to like not just be beaten down all day for like 3-4 days in a row.
Right. Do you have any out of state elk trips or anything planned?
Yeah, we're putting in, kind of getting all that stuff organized. And trying to plan for now. We're trying to go to Montana.
Yeah.
Montana next year. Trying to do
We'll
the
be in
combo
Colorado, so
there. So
we'll be in
nice.
Colorado this
Awesome.
year again. We went last year and was able
elk
to
hunting or deer hunting?
elk hunting. Yep.
Okay, you
All
going
do
rifle
yourself.
or archery?
Archery. Yeah, we
Okay,
went
we'll
out
have to,
DIY. We just scouted the hell
Awesome.
out of everything, and
Sweet. We'll have to. We'll have a offline conversation.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, no doubt.
about some Colorado
Yeah,
stuff.
we had a really good. It took us 6 days to get one. So I mean,
awesome.
we ran into some prime territory, I think. So yeah,
Sweet.
this offline convo will yeah, for sure.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, we'll have that.
Yeah.
Like I said, I
someone
for
pull on
sure.
his
finished
collar.
school out there. We lived out there for a while.
It'll be good because it's fun, and
Yeah,
we got
I've been elk
we got
hunting out there since I was a little kid.
no doubt we got a badass campsite too.
Sweet. Well, yeah, definitely have to.
Yeah, we'll chit
Chat
chat.
about that.
We'll chit chat a little bit.
Most definitely.
So
But
we
yeah, I
had
think, we might try, like I was saying, we only get 2 weeks in September, so we were even considering going, it's probably going to make some people mad, hopping the border and going down to Oregon.
Hey,
for
go
archery stuff,
torture
too.
them people.
go to
do it.
Portland and go hunting.
Oh, yeah.
Go get them. Go
Man,
get them.
they get Oregon, they get, the localism is, it's tough down there.
Yeah.
These guys,
Are
they don't
those
like the out-of-staters.
are those Roosevelts up there?
Yep.
Yeah, we're hunting all Roosevelts for as far as like Washington elk go,
Yeah.
which basically is delineated by I-5. So the freeway kind of runs along the foothills of the Cascades. So if you've got a population of elk that's west of I-5, it's most likely a pure Roosevelt population. And then on the east side, it's more on the east side of the state. They're Rocky Mountain elk, kind of classic western elk. And then we do have what's called Cascade Roosevelts, which are kind of up in my backyard that I can't hunt because it's a draw unit.
It's a different breed.
Sounds like Pennsylvania. We'll live
Yeah,
here our
it's
whole
like
life
kind
and
of
never
like
get to hunt them.
Probably.
Yeah, it's like it's literally a hybrid between the two. Like people, you hear bench-led bucks out here, which are like kind of a mix between blacktail and a mule deer, or like the deer that have kind of span multiple environments.
Right.
But then you got those Cascade Roosevelts, which are kind of like the west side of the mountains, high country, more in the foothills, mountainous terrain elk,
Yeah.
and they'll behave more like your standard Rocky Mountain elk. Like they'll have a more defined migration route. They'll have to move more for food, water, cover than say your true Roosevelt, which is coastal, thick, aggressive, thick. You're hunting them. You're looking for bugles, because you can't freaking see. So they're different. But then so you got the east side, you got Rockies, west side, you got the Roosevelts, and then like I said, where we are in the Cascades, I'm up by Mount Baker, so up here we'll see them running around, hiking and whatever. We go do some shed hunting up here with the kids and whatnot, and be driving around and bump herds. And there's some big, beautiful bulls that are that Cascade Roosevelt variety. But yeah, typically those Roosevelt that we're hunting are massive bodies, typically smaller on the rack size. But yeah, they're just tanks because they've got food, they've got water, they've got cover. Pretty much everywhere they go, within like 5 feet, there's one of those 3 necessities that they need. So
Yeah.
it's this is a completely different. It's kind of based on the terrain. Obviously, I think those Roosevelts, they don't have to move as much seasonally, so their bodies get bigger. They're working through that thick underbrush where it was once logged, and now it's all like scraggly undergrowth, and they be surprised what those big ass animals can fit through sometimes. It's like they walk. It's like they get through these little holes and they turn around, they walk backwards so their antlers don't touch.
What?
Listen.
I
In
swear.
Colorado, it was like nothing but deadfall and like crazy, and we're walking and we're making a shit ton of
Yeah.
noise, but we're watching these big ass elk, 800-pound elk, walk like they're levitating.
Oh, silent.
It's just unbelievable. It's unbelievable how they can just.
Well, they're not wearing a size 12 boot. You know that.
That's true too, but I mean, they got this. There's a lot of weight and a lot of mass to them fellas.
Yeah,
So
it's incredible.
It
They're-
is.
they're-
It
It's
is
amazing how
incredible.
quiet they can. It's amazing how quiet they really can be.
yeah, it's nuts.
For sure.
It's absolutely crazy.
Chucky, pop
But
that
yeah, I
open.
think for us, just Montana and Oregon. Are you guys? You guys are doing Colorado again? You guys got anything else on the docket, or
We got some.
is that pretty
We
much
got
it?
some turkey stuff that's going to be
Oklahoma in
going
April.
around, and other than that, I think for this year, I don't know. For me, I'm designated to Colorado this year. So
Yeah, we got Oklahoma in April for turkey, and then
That was sweet.
West Virginia
Sweet.
for sure. I'll
Yeah,
be
West
hitting
Virginia.
West
God,
Virginia.
we gotta have multiple offline conversations, man.
yeah,
All
for
right.
sure. Yeah, for sure.
Oklahoma too. I got my whole dad's whole side of the family's from
I just keep reaching out.
Oklahoma.
Oh shit.
Got a bunch of family there.
we're
Okay.
about to lose Chucky. He just cracked open the penne. I think he's about to
Oh,
go in
he's
deep
about to-
here and finally start
He's
his
about to-
best.
He's about to stop
Or
breathing.
no,
here
he
in a
got the
minute.
tacos.
You
He got the
can't
tacos.
smell this through the microphone, but
He's
if
about
you
to
could,
stop breathing.
holy shit! Wow.
Have to get the
The
Cholula.
quail tinga. This
Ooh, we got the
thing
penne, might
is
need another minute.
incredible. I gotta get
Chucky's
a
never
bite.
had this before. We
I
were
haven't
talking about
eaten
Mountain
today.
House, and I said I don't give that to everybody. That's the special stock. So.
Yeah, I did ask him. I was like, "Is this the stuff you gave me that day we were hunting whitetails all day, and you made me hike 3 miles straight uphill?"
I gave you the jerky. You got
Wow.
the
Look
Nah,
at that.
He said, "No, I gave you the
That
shit."
looks like it's straight out of Mexico, bud. That's good stuff. I see corn. I
Oh,
see
yeah.
all kind of stuff. Woo!
That's a good bite. Right
Just
there.
take it.
Can we,
I like the enthusiasm,
I gotta
man.
let it cool
Oh,
down.
bud, listen.
Is there?
I
Is that
get
onion?
I get about as
Pepper?
fired up for the littlest things and the biggest things,
Mushroom?
and it don't matter.
Oh, it's probably so hot.
Oh,
Why you
look
can't
at it.
believe you just ate that.
Look at it. Look at that. Look at it. Wait till you see the video. You'll see his
It's
reaction.
so good. It is so good.
Did you embrace it?
It's not that hot. It's
Okay.
really good.
You made
really
a face
good.
like your tongue was melting to the roof of your mouth.
Yeah.
No, that was just my first bite of food today.
You went in hot. You went in hot.
Holy shit, man!
I think
Wow,
we
that
accidentally got
I
a
can
little
smell
drunk
it
too.
now. I can smell it
I
now.
will
And that
give you
smells straight from Mexico. I
A
love it.
plus on the quail tinga tacos. That is unreal. Here you go, boys. Pass
A
it around.
plus.
Have a bite.
A plus.
It's a little warm.
Oh, hell yeah.
Have you ever had a live tasting on a podcast before?
No, man, it's the first one.
There we go.
First live taste test. I dig it.
Oh, you got a big chunk of quail
you
in there.
got
Wow.
damn, bro. Don't drop
Don't
none.
spill it. You got to eat that. You got to eat that off the floor.
Jeff's had it before. He knows what it's all about.
Yeah, you
Well,
cheater.
in that case, give it back. Bastards. I want some of that bison.
So
too.
living in Washington and hunting in Washington, have you ever run into Cameron Haynes before? I gotta
No, I
ask.
have not.
gotta ask.
He's like I said. We might be dipping into the Oregon side of things this year. So if we Cam, if we end up in your honey hole, I'm sorry, but
Bro,
we're not going to take it easy on you.
I see Aaron Snyder always mentions you guys too. Like when he does his little Q&A things on Instagram, people ask about like the best food to take in. I mean, he's a pretty big name to be mentioning a company, especially I think it speaks
absolutely.
volumes.
He's
I
been
can
a huge
understand
supporter.
why. like I said before we started this, I saw Clint Casper liked a lot of your posts, and like, if Clint Casper's giving it the okay, then I know it's a good thing.
Listen, I just took a bite.
You know, Clint is one of those guys that does not get nearly as much recognition as he should.
No,
he don't.
He's a badass
Clint-
dude.
But I feel like that's what he wants. So I feel like that's what he likes.
Yeah,
though.
he's just a humble, quiet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I feel
But
like
yeah,
that's
man,
how
no,
he
Clint's
is.
awesome. We send him a lot of food, and there's some guys that have been pivotal in the testing department for us, and Clint and Aaron both. Aaron's helped us out in many other ways, and he's helped me out since I was in school in Colorado and hooking me up with packs and stuff like that. So we go back quite a ways. But yeah, those guys have been super helpful, and yeah, guys like Clint and Tony Treach that
Yeah, for sure.
if you kind of into what we're into, you'll kind of maybe recognize those voices. But just a couple of the nicest, most humble guys you've ever met. And Tony's funny thing, he's from where I grew up in Michigan. We're from the same hometown. Had no idea before I knew who he was, but I didn't know he was from. So now every time I go back to my parents, I go hang out with Tony and we shoot bows in the driveway and shit. It's awesome.
Hell yeah.
That's so awesome.
Well, listen, I'm
some of
gonna
those
say
guys have
this.
been awesome on the testing side, and they're absolute killers. Those guys,
Oh, yeah.
and
they
they
stack
do
bodies.
a whole lot.
Jesus.
That's awesome to hear because they do a whole lot for us, and it's one of those things. It's like we just love supporting guys like that, and it's awesome to hear it come back around and hear guys say like, "Oh, we see Clint using it," and
Oh yeah.
Clint's
it's
using
good.
it. Then like, "Oh yeah, we're down with it," because that's exactly what like. No, man, that makes us. That's dope.
Yeah,
Well,
we
I'll
run
tell you
Kafara
this.
packs,
I'll
too.
tell you this. This September, expect a big order from me because.
Well, you better get it before September, bud.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I put my order in now, and I'll pay you then. Because that stuff is
It's really good.
That's something serious.
It's really
Oh,
good.
good,
because
good. Glad you like it, man.
it tastes like I just pulled it off the grill. I ain't even kidding.
Yeah, I know. I love
That's the goal, It's like
I'm not
like
even
I said,
kidding.
we made our own stuff before, for years before we, started the business side of it, and it was like, why doesn't backcountry food taste better?
Oh my god,
Just
it's
on
amazing.
on a base level, why doesn't it taste better, and why isn't it why is it not made for what it's designed for?
Right.
Not trying to rip at anybody, but
No,
when you
well, I
open
mean,
yours,
Man,
it
you eat-
but you
smells
bring
you
it-
eat some of the stuff that's out there for a week, and you're gonna feel it. And
Yeah.
we wanted to just make good,
that's-
clean food
I feel like
that you
that's
can
what.
rely on that tastes good. It's like it's not doesn't seem like a hard concept.
Right. No, and I feel like this stuff.
As soon as you open the bag, it smells
separates you from other brands too.
I might bring this home to my wife and say,
dude, I
"Hey, here's
appreciate
dinner.
it.
Look what I made." You know what I mean? And she would
Yeah.
have no clue.
Yeah, I mean, I
this
mean,
came
like,
out of a
the-
bag.
like,
You
but
kidding
honestly,
me?
like this separates you from
Everybody.
every brand that there is that I've tried. I mean, I haven't tried
Oh,
many,
good.
but,
That's what we like to hear, man.
but I mean,
Appreciate
like this stuff's like, okay, I cooked in my kitchen. Can
Yeah.
I
Oh my God,
couldn't.
what I just
Me personally, I can't compare to this.
No.
And I'm cooking. I'll cook in the kitchen. I'll do this. I'd lose. I honestly would lose. So. Unless you take, hey, unless
it's
you
cheap,
take
man.
me
Like
to
I
the
said,
grill.
I grew up in a restaurant and
Yeah.
a catering kitchen, and
You got
I've
the
got-
upper hand.
I got tricks up my sleeve that takes 10 years of working in restaurants to know. So it's like you can make food that's better than that because that is in a bag that you have to pour hot water over.
Yeah.
It's like
I
I'm of the
highly
belief
disagree.
like you can only make it so good because it has to be rehydrated. It's in a bag. It'll only be so good, but we want to make it as enjoyable as possible.
Well, if it's so good, like how you're saying, like it can only be so good. Well, this is damn fucking good.
I just ate it
I
off
just-
of
I
a
said the
garage
F word,
floor
but hey, whatever.
because it's that good.
I
It's
think you're
that
just
good.
drunk now.
That's
we
that
we
good.
accidentally got drunk.
No, it's that good. It's that good. Usually I say the F word a lot more.
Tanner's a little out there right now.
Tanner, yeah, he got.
I'll be honest, he's a little bit
Hey,
saucy.
listen.
spacing out,
Hey,
but
listen. I'll go to any extreme.
he's not wrong. He's not wrong. I mean, this food is absolutely incredible. I'm
speak
glad
the
we
truth,
did
and
the
this truth
live
is what I
tasting.
speak.
So we're getting about the end here. Does anybody guys have closing comments before we get into the close call here?
I'll see you after the message. I'll see you after the deal.
As far as your
I'm
gold
just
and silver
BSing.
memberships through the company, are you planning on, like, when you get the new system running, are you planning on keeping the same kind of gold, silver memberships and all that?
Yeah, we're gonna keep those there. We just wanted to, like, we realize we make the most expensive backcountry food product that you can buy, mainly because we put good clean ingredients in them, and those cost more than other ingredients.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's the root of it. But we do realize, like, it is expensive. So, and we realize there's a lot of guys that buy our food all the time, and they're always posting about it, and they're like those street level champions of the brand, and like we want to give something back to those guys that are like always buying stuff and always supporting stuff. Or maybe they're like a guy like Tony Treacher, Clint, who they booked out there, they're working their ass off all year.
Oh, yeah.
And then come September, they're gone for 60 days.
Yeah,
like
they're down.
those guys,
Literally.
that, they get it. The guys that get it and fully, wholeheartedly, like, support us. And like I said, a lot of them are out there, like, being champions of the brand for us and doing a lot of that marketing, which we just absolutely love and appreciate. We want to give something back for them. We're small enough where we can't just, like, offer that for free necessarily. So we want to just kind of come up with a way where it's like we can provide some serious value to those guys that are going above and beyond the average customer, so to say.
Yeah, and I'm sure they appreciate the hell out of that. I'm sure.
Yeah, it's a pretty hefty discount.
Well, I mean, if you
man.
think about it, when you're out there, I mean, you rely on what you got to eat. I mean,
But think about it, like,
Yeah.
these
You
people
open
don't
this-
have to lie about the product that
you
they
open
receive.
you open a
like,
bag and you want something out of it.
first
and
bite.
for this.
Yeah, for sure. And we, and not to disagree, like, we think the price is totally justified. And look, if we could make them cheaper, we would. But we set out to make the highest quality product that we could, and then we priced it accordingly afterwards to really kind of make it work. And honestly, I'm so glad that we did that, because we're still here.
Yeah,
And there's been a handful of food companies that have, like, almost came out of the woodwork and, like, done really well, but there's been 2 or 3 of them in the last 2 or 3 years since we started that have disappeared.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad we didn't try to just come out and be, like, competitive on a price point with those big companies, because it would have just annihilated us.
Yeah. You can't do that either, too. Like you said,
Yeah,
I don't
so
feel like
now,
I'm getting ripped off when I pay for this. When I open it up
and
and
I
smell
don't,
it, I'm
and
like,
we, like I said, we're the price, I feel, is totally worth it and justified in every aspect
100%.
of the product, and that's my biased opinion. But
That's
we wanted to just offer something for. Well, good. No, that's awesome. And we wanted we wanted to give the guys that are going above and beyond, trying it here and there, a little bit more benefit. So yeah, you get a pretty good discount. We're gonna kind of start working in. Did a couple big giveaways last year with some of the companies that we've worked with and partnered with. We did some, like, Vortex binos last year. We did a Kafaru backpack, which, thanks Frank and Aaron for all the support. So there's some other cool stuff. We're gonna kind of try and keep ramping up that membership program to kind of add little bits and pieces to it here and there as we kind of get settled back into our rhythm after last summer.
It'll
So
be good. It'll be a good year this year.
Let
I
me
think.
just say, if I was out on the mountain for 10 days with nothing but off-grid food company bags, I'd be eating better, 10 times better there in those 10 days
I
than
do
I
every
ever
other
do in my entire life here at
Yeah,
home.
100%.
I'm going to start
100%.
buying these just for dinner for me and my wife. I
Yeah.
mean, like, that's what's going to be dinner. Like, that's the easiest dinner I ever make. When she's at work, by the time she gets home, it'll already be out of the bag. She'll never know.
You never know. Just get some tortillas for
She'll
her. That's
think
actually
I
how me and Jeff
became,
did it at the
yeah,
camp with
she'll think I
tortillas.
became the greatest cook on this planet.
I've done it, man. I've done it.
delightful.
You take the quail tinga taco bowl or the
No.
bison fajita bowl, and you make some quesadillas.
Hey,
Put that
now.
stuff in the you put that stuff in the middle of some tortillas, and you fry them suckers up for the kids.
Oh.
They never know.
Let's go. Never ending.
Yeah.
Never ending. Hey, Taco Tuesday.
Take my money. Just take it.
Yep.
It's
You might as well
yours.
just have it. I don't have much, but you can have it.
It's all yours.
So Spencer, where can everybody find you? Where's the best place to reach out? Where can we buy more of these? Where can everybody buy more of these?
Yeah, like I said, we're mostly direct to consumer, so the website's the best place for that, and it's just www.offgridfood.co. Pretty easy to find if you Google Off-Grid Food Company. And then, yeah, kind of keep up on the happenings and all that stuff is mostly on Instagram, and we're just Off-Grid Food Co. Pretty easy to find, and that's kind of, like I said, where we do most of the major updates and stuff like that. And then if you get on the website, you can, we've got an emailer list and stuff like that, and kind of send some of that stuff out periodically. But we tend to be, like I said, kind of so small and run and gun. A lot of the times, those fine details that some of the larger, more established companies do would get set aside for us just making food and getting orders sent out the
Hey,
door.
just let it go, bud. Just let it rip. And do what
So,
you gotta do and do
We're
it.
getting there, man.
Do you have anything else in closing? Kind of throw out there for everybody listening. All
I don't,
100-something people.
I don't think so, man. Appreciate you guys having me on. It's been,
I appreciate
Listen,
you coming.
we'll be in touch. We'll be in
dig
touch.
it.
We'll get things going.
So everybody
we
listen.
got to talk Colorado.
Oh, we're
We
gonna-
got to talk
Oh,
Oklahoma. We got to
That happens
doubt.
in.
I'm just gonna
talk
stop
about you
recording.
guys
I'm not gonna
trip
hang
out
out.
here. You know.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
So everybody
We got
We'll be
listening,
in touch.
thank you for
So-
checking in. Make sure you guys check out Spencer and Off Grid Food Company. Make sure you guys give us a thumbs up, subscribe, do all that fancy stuff, and then stay the course, right?
That's right. Until the next time.
All right,
Cool.
boys.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks again.